सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। Our Sanatana Samskriti, which is known as Hindu Samskriti, otherwise known as Vaidika Samskriti, otherwise known as Bharatiya Samskriti. This Samskriti, in English, we call it as culture. In English, we can call it as Vedic culture, Indian culture they call, Westerners they call Indian culture. But we, the Bharatiyas or Sanatanis, call it as Hindu Samskriti or Vaidika Samskriti or Bharatiya Samskriti. This Samskriti is a culture which cultivates the person until he culminates into Parama Purushartha. Culture is that which cultivate the person, the individual, until the person reach his culmination, that is Purushartha, Moksha Purushartha, that is culmination. In simple example, first I will explain how this culture cultivate and takes me to culmination. That example is, the rainwater comes from the mountains, which has fallen on the mountain. It runs through the mountains, come down. As it is coming down, that water, it carries lot of minerals, herbal ingredients which are there on the mountain. And it carries a lot of sediment, that water which has fallen on the mountain, it carries lot of sediment along with it. And that water flows further downwards. As it goes further, it carries those minerals, herbal ingredients from the Himalayan mountains. Then what they do, that water, that river is directed, channelized into many directions as tributaries. As tributaries, they divert the water, channelize the water, river water, for the purpose of cultivation. Wherever the river travels, it moves. It makes that land fertile. It makes that land fertile. And that fertile land, it is fit for agriculture. That water which has carried that minerals, herbal ingredients along with it, it leaves on the banks of the river, and that water and that land having lot of fertile capacity, and it can produce lot of grains, lot of vegetables, lot of farming can be done, and people there can live happily with sufficient food. When sufficient food is there, further they can pursue their other purusharthas. And the river continues to travel until it merges into ocean, the culmination. Now this example is very well known example. There is nothing new in this example. Why I am taking this example? Now you have to apply what I want to communicate. Our culture, Sanatana Samskriti, also coming from ancient time, from our rishis, which they have received from Vedas. It is coming from ancient time. It is like a flow, prabaha, the river flow, like the culture. And that culture which is flowing, coming from our rishis, based on Vedika Samskriti, it is based on Vedas, therefore it is called Vedika Samskriti. And the rishis, they come like rivers, they give that knowledge to the people of that land. When they give that, get that knowledge, that culture, when they come onto this flow of this culture, Sanatana Samskriti, they live and they practice achara and they give to the next generations. And that people who follow that culture, Sanatana Samskriti, they know that their culmination is moksha. And they guide the people around them. In Kashi and Haridwar, if you see, there are ghats. Ghat is a place where people take dip and take bath. It is safe place. It is called ghat. In Kashi, Haridwar, Rishikesh, anywhere you go to any river banks, there are ghats. Like that, here our rishis are like ghats. Our parampara gurus, sampradaya gurus, traditional teachers are like ghats. They give this culture. They teach to the people how this culture to be practiced. They prescribe what our Vedas talk about samskaras. They prescribe us, they teach us that samskaras which have come to taken in Grihya Sutras of Gautama Rishi, like many other rishis, they impart that knowledge to us. That is why these samskaras we call samskara, that which refines the personality. By learning that Dharma Shastra, this boy goes to Gurukula, we are seeing that Upanayana steps. He learns Dharma Shastra there. And he refines his personality. By refining his own personality, he refines, his whole family gets refinement. This is called parampara. We take it as, that boy is taking it as Brahmacharya Ashrama, we said in the last class. Brahmacharya Ashrama means taking lot of disciplines. Through Upanayana Samskara, he is taking lot of disciplines to learn Dharma Shastra and Vedas, a disciplined life. Just as the river culminates its destiny in ocean, every individual has to culminate his own destiny in moksha purushartha. That moksha purushartha is the ultimate goal of every human being. For that purpose only Veda prescribed these all samskaras. Whether we are practicing 100% or not, that is our problem. But Veda prescribe. These are the samskaras, rituals. If you practice, you are benefited by them and you are cultivated with those samskaras. Slowly you will get into that thinking of moksha, purushartha, one day or other, in one janma or other. That is the expectation of Vedas. In the last class, I gave those steps of Upanayana Samskara, nearly or 12 steps I gave. That Tirtha Jala Prokshanam and Upanayana Homa, Brahmopadesha, so many other steps I gave. Some more steps we will see, then we will go to other samskaras. 13th step is in Upanayana Samskara, Oshtasparshaha. Oshtasparsha means this boy, brahmachari, has to touch his lips. Touch his lips and he has to say, now I am grown up. I am a dvijaha. Avridhamasau somya pranaha. O Lord Prana, may you protect me, he asks. May you protect me and my wealth. What is my wealth? Vedas. You protect my wealth, known as Vedas, because I am going to learn Vedas. This is called Oshtasparshaha. Then 14th step in Upanayana Samskara is Karnasparshaha. This boy touch his ears. Karna means ears. He touch his ears and says, let the Veda should enter into my ears, it should not go out. Brahmanam anisthaha. May I receive the Veda and it should not go out of my memory. It should assimilate into my heart, in my mind completely. That is called Karnasparshaha. Then 15th step is known as Palasha Danda Dharanam. Palasha Danda is known as Sushravaha. Sushravaha. Palasha tree, big staff like danda, he hold in his hand, is called Palasha Danda Dharanam, is one step in Upanayana Samskara. Sushravaha Kuru Bhuyasam. And that Palasha Danda is symbolized as Devata. He is asking that Danda, give me listening power. Give me listening power. Because this boy has to chant Veda mantras with swara. Anudatta, Udatta, Swarita, all he has to follow that Vedic mantras and its nuances, rules and regulations he has to follow. When Guru teaches one time, he has to repeat 2 times. When Guru utter one time that mantra, he has to repeat it 2 times. After 16th day, 10 sentences, 5 times he has to chant without seeing book. 10 sentences he has to chant 5 times without seeing the book. So he is asking, oh, this that is called Shushravaha, that name is called Shushravaha, may I have that listening power. So, Brahmananam Brahmanaha Nidhi Gopaha. Let me be the protector of Vedas. Let me let me be the protector of Vedas. It should not go away from my memory. So he does a lot of memorization of mantras. So memorization is the first stage of learning of Vedas. Memorization. Then 16th step in Upanayana is Acharya asking this boy to practice certain vratams. And he says, Smrutancha me, asmrutancha me. I should remember what I have to remember. I should not remember what I should not remember. This is the first vratam. Then second vratam is Nindachame, Anindachame. I should criticize what I should criticize. I should not criticize what I should not criticize. Nindachame, Anindachame. Then third vratam is Shraddhachame, Ashraddhachame. In what I should have faith, let me have faith in that alone. On what I should not have faith, let me not have faith on that. This is third vratam. Then fourth vratam is Vidyachame, Avidyachame. I should know what is to be known. I should not know what is not to be known. This is also one vratam. So I should have Shraddha on what I know. Then fifth vratam is Satyanchame, Anrutanchame. I must be committed to speaking truth. I must avoid telling lies. I must avoid telling untruth or lies. Then sixth vratam is Tapaschame, Atapaschame. What penance I should practice, let me practice that penance alone. I should not practice that penance what I should not. That is another vratam. Then seventh vratam is Vratanchame, Avratanchame. What vows, 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 I should follow, I must follow those vows. What I should not follow, let me not follow those vratams. This is the seventh vratam. And with this, all these vratams are over in Upanayana Samskara steps. One step is over. That means 16th step is over. Then 17th step in Upanayana is Samidhadhanam. In Sandhyavandanam is different, Samidhadhanam is different. While doing Sandhyavandanam, the teacher first time he teaches Samidhadhanam how to do. He kindled the fire and he prayed to the Agni Bhagavan and he asks for Shraddha, faith, and Medha Shakti, memory power, Yashaha, he is asking Agni Bhagavan, Yashaha, fame, Prajna, and Viveka Shakti, discriminative knowledge, Vidya, knowledge. Discriminative power and Vidya means knowledge. He is asking for. Then Shriyaha, prosperity. O Agni Bhagavan, give me prosperity. And Balam, give me power. All these he asks Agni Bhagavan when he does Samidhadhanam at the time of Sandhyavandanam. All these asked from Agni Bhagavan. So that Samidhadhanam time, it is given for the first time for that brahmachari. Afterwards he does on his own. Then 18th step, the last step in Upanayana is Bhikshacharyam. The Acharya says to this Brahmachari, Brahmacharyasi, now you are a bachelor. Then Shishya says, Badham, yes, I am a bachelor. Then Guru says, Aposhanam, see this boy should not eat before the Guru taking his food. After Guru's eating that food, that then only he has to take the food. That is the niyama. He can drink water, but he should not eat before the Guru is eating. So, Brahmacharya, see, you are following Brahmacharya. What are the rules and regulations he is telling? Sushuptaha ma sushuptaha diva. A Brahmachari, bachelor, should not sleep in daytime. Don't sleep in the day, Guru says. Acharya says, in the daytime. Why? Because tamoguna increases. A bachelor sleeps in the daytime, tamoguna increases. Once tamoguna is increased, he cannot learn anything and he becomes lazy and his mind becomes so dull. A dull mind cannot learn this Vedic teaching, not any teaching. Dull mind cannot have subtle intellect. The more you sleep in the daytime, you become slowly lazy. Bachelor time and student lifetime, they are not supposed to sleep in the daytime. So to avoid tamoguna. Otherwise, our mind becomes blunt and they cannot grasp subtle subject matters. That is the idea. And Acharya says further, Bhikshacharyam cha, may you go and beg for food. First he asks his mother only. Bhavati Bhikshandehi. Mother gives food. First time he asks. Then when he goes to Gurukula, there he has to go to villages and ask Bhiksha and get food for the Guru, Acharya. After Guru eating, whatever left out he has to take. Those days. Okay? That is Bhikshacharyam. And what are all other restrictions also? They are given. This Brahmachari should not wear gorgeous dress. He should not have any scent, powder, snow or any perfumes. They are all prohibited for him. He has to live a very simple life. We saw already that point. So very rigid life he has to live. So no fun with girls. No, girls also, they should not have any fun with the boys at that age. Until they finish their education. They have to be very strict. So there is one nice shloka, often I used to quote in the class. Kakadrishtihi bakadhyanam shvana nidra tathaivacha alpaharam jirna vastram etat vidyarthi lakshanam. How a vidyarthi should be. For any student, not only a Gurukula student, for any student, the crow-like observation he or she must have. Crow-like observation. Kakadrishti. Second one, Bakadhyanam, crane-like concentration. How crane is standing to catch the fish. Like that he has to have a tremendous concentration power. Then Shwana Nidra, dog sleeps very short time and immediately it wakes up. Shwana Nidra, dog-like sleep. Then Jirna Vastram. Jirna means not a torn dress but simple dress. That is the simple dress, Jirna Vastram. And Alpaharaha, light meals. Heavy meal bachelor should not take. Light meals and simple dress. Kakadrishtihi, Bakadhyanam, Shwana Nidra, Tathaiva cha means not any other discipline. Like that, alpaharam, alpaharaha jeeranavastram etat vidyarthi lakshanam. But our vidyarthis, our children, they are students. Now there is no comparison at all. All these are very far for many students, not all, but many students, these are all very far. Anyhow, but our Shastra prescribe all these restrictions, rules for a student. With this, Upanayana Samskara is over. Now we are going to enter Vedadhyanam, the 12th Samskara known as Vedarambha. Now you have to imagine this boy has gone to Gurukula after Upanayana and he is going to start Veda Adhyanam. Because Gayatri Upadesha, when Guru did, that is Savitri Mantra Upadesha, it is a symbolic. Now he is going to enter into the entire study of Veda. So first one is, he has to learn his own Veda first. His own Veda means Svashakho Upanishad. If he belongs to a Rigveda, he has to learn Rigveda. If he belongs to Yajurveda Shakha, he has to learn Yajurveda. Like that, Atharvana Veda or Sama Veda, whatever he belongs, first he has to learn that Veda. So one Veda to learn, it takes 12 years. Complete Veda to study, it takes 12 years. So these 12 years, he can study one Veda and the preceding deity of that Veda, he has to offer oblations. And every Veda has got its own preceding deities. So like that, for example, I will give one example, that Yajurveda we will take. Rigveda, for Rigveda, Agni Devata, they worship different devatas, Akasha Devata, Agni Devata, Surya Devata, different devatas they worship. For Yajurveda, suppose we take, there are 7 khandas in Yajurveda. In that 7 khandas, they are divided into 4 sections. The 4 sections, one section ki one devata. Now 7 khandas divided into 4 sections means 4 khandas. Now one khanda, they look at it as one rishi. That means this is known as Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna means Kanda Rishi Tarpanam is a Brahma Yajna. Kanda Rishi Tarpanam, the ritual performed for the Rishi belong to that Kanda. Now the first Kanda is known as, the first Rishi is known as Prajapati Devata is the first Rishi, known as Prajapatya Vedavratam. He has to do that Vratam, Vedavratam, Prajapatya Devata Vratam, Vedavratam. Then second Kanda Rishi is Soma Devata. Soma Devata is known as Saumya Kanda Vedavratam. Saumya Kanda Vedavratam. That which belongs to Soma Devata. Then third Kanda Rishi is known as Agni Devata. Agneya Kanda Vedavratam. It is known as Agneya Kanda Vedavratam. Then fourth Kanda Rishi is Vishwe Devataha. Vishwe Devataha is known as Vaishwadeva Kanda Vedavratam. What he has to do first? Upakarma he has to do. For all these rishis, he has to, starting that Prajapatya Kanda, he has to do a ritual. Worshipping that Prajapati Devata. Starting Upakarma is a small beginning ritual of Prajapatya Devata. Upakarma. After completing that first Kanda, prayers to Prajapati, Prajapatya Kandam, he has to do that Thanksgiving ritual. Thanksgiving ritual, and he has to do Prayaschittam. Prayaschittam means any mantra lope, niyama lope, kala lope. Suppose if I have not followed any time, my pronunciation is not correct anywhere, if I have done any mistake, Prayaschittam. So he has to ask, excuse me. Then concluding the same Prajapatya Kanda, Upasarjana Karma, it is called concluding ritual. So for every Kanda, Upakarma, Prayaschitta Karma and Upasarjana Karma. Like that, for every Kanda, they have to do these rituals in Vedarambha time when he is studying Vedas. This is about Vedic study. If he want to study, suppose, other Vedas, after entering Grihastha Ashrama also, he can study, because one Veda itself takes 12 years. If he is go on studying 4 Vedas, how many years it will take? He will get 48 years when he will get married. So therefore, a priest who want to do rituals and all, they study all the Vedas, because their job is that only. They can spend more time in that. Therefore, those who are interested, they can study after entering into Grihastha Ashrama also. Or for symbolically, they chant the first mantra of each Veda. It is as good as studying all other Vedas also. In temples and all, they chant like that while doing that puja time. All Vedic mantras, first mantra they will chant. Now we'll go to the next samskara, is known as Keshanta Samskara. Keshanta Samskara is the 13th samskara. This is first time at the age of 16, the beard of that boy is shaved. First time, 16th year, they shave that beard of that boy, brahmachari. This is called Keshanta ritual. Or it can be called as Godana ritual. That means Gaha Diyante Yasmin Karmani Tat. Gaha Diyante Yasmin Karmani Tat. That means a samskara in which the hair, beard hair is removed. It is called Keshanta ritual. And in this samskara time, he has to observe silence, and he symbolizing a life of discipline he is going to follow. Self-restraint, everything he is following, that is symbolized. And after this Keshanta ritual, we will go to the next ritual known as that 14th ritual, Samavartana ritual. Samavartanam. Or we can call it as Snatakotshavam. Nowadays in colleges they do, after completing that bachelor, the bachelor study, BA Arts, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science. That bachelor, once they complete, they do convocation. That convocation said in Shastra as Snatakotshavam or Samavartanam. What he does here in this Samavartanam, he is coming from Gurukula. Educational samskaras over with Keshanta. After completing the study in Gurukula, he comes back. Guru gives permission. You can go to your place. When he is coming to his house, he has to go to a river. There, they shave the head and completely, and after that he can have a craft with tuft, without tuft also people. He can be relaxed in his disciplines little bit. Now, not little bit, much more. Not Gurukulam disciplines are not there for him now. What are all they do? This boy, in before marriage, they are doing nowadays Snatakam. What Snatakam they do, you know better than me. So when this boy want to go to Kashi Yatra after coming from Gurukula, nowadays boys have not gone to Gurukula at all, but for namesake they perform that Snatakam ritual as though this boy has gone to Gurukula and studied Veda and has come. Then what? This boy want to go to Kashi and study further Tarka, Mimamsa or any other Vedas he want to study. What these family members does, and they give chapel, umbrella, and a lot of things. They apply anointment, a lot of powder like, a lot of decoration, costly dress, everything, whatever he left previously, all he wears. And he can have perfumes, he can have snow, he can have powder, he can have costly dress, he can wear gold, you can like that. So relax, disciplines are relaxed for him. At that time, Snataka time, and you know that this boy is asked by the girl's brother, you don't go to Kashi Yatra, you come and marry my sister. So like that in marriage it is happening. Here what Guru says, Guru's permission he has to take. That permission and all in what form nowadays they are doing. And that Kalyana Patrika they take to their Guru or Pithadipati, whomever they are following, they go and take Ashirvadam. Like that it is there still in the traditional families. Now those days, what is the niyama? If this boy want to continue in Brahmacharya ashrama, suppose, he can continue. Or if he want to marry, he can marry. If he want to continue in Brahmacharya ashrama, he can be a Naishthika Brahmachari. Lifelong he can be a Brahmachari like Bhishmacharya. Lifelong Naishthika Brahmacharyam. Even that Naishthika Brahmachari, after long time bachelorhood maintaining, last span of life he can take sannyasa. That is one option. Second option, this Snataka, his name is called Snataka now. So Veda Vrata Snataka. If he studies Veda, it is he is known as Veda Vrata Snataka. Without Veda study, suppose he study only MBA, ME, BE like that, he is only a Snataka. So Shastra says, Brahmacharyat grihi bhavet, grihi bhutva vani bhavet, vani bhutva pravrajet. This is the order in our scriptures. First, be as a Brahmachari, then grihi bhavet. After completing Gurukula Vasa, after your studies, you can enter into Grihastha Ashrama, household life. After entering Grihastha Ashrama, having children, Dharma Abhivriddhi Artham, Praja Abhivriddhi Artham, you can marry. And after marriage, once your children are settled, Vani Bhavet, you have to take Vanaprastha Ashrama. Once children are settled. Vani Bhutva, later, after Vanaprastha Ashrama, you can take Sannyasa Ashrama. Pravrajet means Sannyasa Ashrama. Then Shastra says, Yad ahareva virajet, tad ahareva pravrajet. Suppose you have got Vairagyam in Brahmacharya Ashrama itself. I don't want to enter into Grihastha Ashrama. So he can take sannyasa. That is permitted in Shastra. Then some people may feel, how can he enter into sannyasa ashrama without grihastha vanaprastha? Means Shastra says, because he has got refined mind, he is free from raga dvesha, he is having lot of vairagyam, because he has completed all of them in previous janma itself. Therefore Shastra says, when he is matured, he can come to sannyasa ashram. But what Guru says here, generally for normal general public, Guruna Anumataha Snatva. Here, Snanam, he has to take bath in the river and take permission from the Guru. Guruna Anumataha. Samavritto yathavidhi. This bachelor, he has to, Guru is telling, Udvaheta dvijaha bharyam savarnam lakshananvitam. Oh, my dear Sishya, may you marry and may you get married. A Dvijaha. This boy is known as Dvijaha, twice born. Whom you have to marry? Savarnam. From your same Varna you have to marry. Now I should not tell this loudly. But Veda tells. That's why I am telling. Savarnam. Same Varna, same caste girl you have to marry. Lakshananvitam, with a lot of achara, vyavahara, good conduct. Whoever is having that girl, you have to marry. After Samavartana Snanam, he has to enter into Grihastha Ashrama. Why Shastra talks about Grihastha Ashrama? Shastra never allow living together, dating, all this and all not allowed according to Shastra, because for healthy family system sake only. The rule is either he has to be in Grihastha Ashrama or he has to be in Vanaprastha Ashrama or in Sannyasa Ashrama or Naishchika Brahmacharya Ashrama. One ashrama or other he has to be there. Ashrama means don't take Rishikesh Ashrama, Haridwar Ashrama or Anekatti Ashrama. That is not the meaning here. Ashrama means a lifestyle. Suppose he is in Brahmacharya Ashrama, he has to follow Brahmacharya Ashrama rituals. If he is in Grihastha Ashrama, he has to follow Grihastha Ashrama rituals. If he is in Vanaprastha Ashrama, he can do Vanaprastha Ashrama, Japa, Tapa, Dhyanam and all that rituals. If he is in Sannyasa Ashrama, he is having his own duties. So, every ashrama prescribe certain duties, particular duties. Suppose he is not in any one ashrama, Shastra says, anashramina tishthet. One should not be out of any one of these ashrama. Anashramina tishthet, kshanam ekamapi Dvijaha. This Dvijaha should not stay even 1 second, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 kshanam. Why? Ashramena vinatishtan. If no ashrama, if it is not Brahmacharya ashrama or Grihastha or any ashrama is not in that, prayaschitiyate naraihi. He has to do lot of prayaschittam. Because what ritual he can do if he is not in any one of the ashrama? What type of ritual he can do? Therefore, ashrama means lifestyle. Bachelorhood lifestyle. Householderhood lifestyle. Vanaprastha ashrama lifestyle. Like that. So this lifestyle he has to decide, otherwise he will become an idle mind, is a devil workshop. Therefore, Shastra never allow person, he has to be in one ashrama or the other. Now, we are going to, with this, this Snatakotsavam is over. We call it as Snatakotsavam nowadays in convocation, in colleges and all, they put a lot of like apron and after finishing they give degree and all. That Gurukula and all, they do this type of Snataka Vratam. After education over, that Guru Acharya himself advised, Kushalana Pramaditavyam, you should not avoid this Grihastha Ashrama. You have to Prajabhivriddhyartham, Dharmabhivriddhyartham, you have to enter into Grihastha Ashrama. Therefore, now the Grihastha Ashrama he has to enter. How? This is very, very important samskara, that is Vivaha samskara. Now, this Vivaha is a 15th samskara. All are purificatory. Purificatory means a refinement, to bring the refinement in this jiva. This Vivaha is also a samskara, wedding. Vedic wedding. In our culture, it is called Vedic wedding. Vaidika Sampradaya Rupa Vivaha. That is called wedding. Register marriage and all is not our paddhati actually. Nowadays they are all happening. But then in front of Agni, Sakshi, they do that vivaha. What is the names we will see first. One name for the marriage is Vivaha. Second name is Udvaha. Udvaha. Third name is Kanyakadanam. Kanyakadanam. Fourth name is Kalyanam. Kalyanam. In Telugu, Lakara is there, La you write, or Kalyanam they write, Kalyanam. What is the meaning of all these four? I will tell you. Vivaha means Visheshena Vahati iti Vivaha. Visheshena Vahati iti Vivaha. Vahati means leading. Visheshena means in a special lifestyle. In a very special lifestyle he is going to lead. That's why it is known as Vivaha. What is that special life? He is going to earn money, he is going to buy a house, he is going to buy so many other things. So he can have all entertainments, so many other things. So Visheshena Vahati iti Vivaha. This is the first meaning. Then second name, that is Udvaha, means Urdhvam Vahati iti Udvaha. In this wedding, after this wedding, he is going to uplift himself for higher pursuit. He is going to uplift himself. A single bachelor going to become a family person. He is going to be responsible. He is going to uplift his partner, life partner, spouse, that is wife, and he is going to uplift his children, daughter, girl, boy and son, daughter, he is going to uplift them. And he is going to uplift other members in the family also. That is why it is known as Udvaha. So Yajna, Yaga he is going to do, and he is going to get lot of Chitta Shuddhi, and Kula Dharma he is going to increase, propagate. His big family lineage is going to become a very big family. That's why it is called Udvaha. Dharma Abhivruddhyartham, Praja Abhivruddhyartham is going to get that marriage. And but in Tamil they say Namiruvar Namakiruvar. Some days like that they were thinking marriage means we are two and we have two. Namiruvar Namakiruvar. And later it came Namiruvar Namakuruvar. We are two and we have one, either daughter or son. Later Namiruvar Name Kolandai Namakem Kolandai. We are only children, why to have children? Like that it is coming nowadays. Marriage is meant for Kula Abhivruddhyartham. Marriage is not meant for anything else. Only to have children, to propagate this Sanatana Dharma, to perpetuate. Who can follow this Dharma and who can propagate this Dharma later, next generations. For that purpose only wedding. And you can have 3, 4, 5 children. So that the siblings, brother, sister is there, and a lot of big family. That is very important to take this Sanatana Dharma. Who will uplift later? This entire Dharma has to be for the sake of humanity. That we have to keep in our mind. You may ask, Swamini, you are sannyasini, you advise like this. See, our parents, our ancestors, they used to have 5, 6, 7, 8 children. No? Even 9, 11. You wonder how was it possible for them. They were not having any rich money, wealth and all. Luxuries were not there. But their wealth is their own children. Their wealth is their own children. They were very happy with their children. So if you see your grandmother or grandfather, if you ask their how many members were there in their families, minimum 10, minimum 11. So I myself am the 8th child of my mother. 8th child, imagine. So many of you also maybe 5th child or 6th child, 7th child also, some of you. It is a great service to this dharma, kula abhivruddhyartham. But these are all family planning and all. They are talking population increasing, like that they are talking. So when there are brothers and sisters, big family, and this is called udvaha, uplifting. One's own pursuit also through yaga, yajna, other rituals, and other children also. It is a support. Children are only a support. Then third name is Kanyaka Danam. Kanyaka Danam means father giving his own daughter as a gift to a bachelor boy. Kanyaka Danam. Danam means here like a charity. He is giving as a gift. It is called Kanyaka Danam. And fourth name is called Kalyanam. Kalyanam means here we all know that Rukmini Kalyanam, Sita Kalyanam. That Kalyanam means Mangalam, auspicious, sacred. So Vivaha is a sacred ritual, samskara. Holy samskara it is. Auspicious samskara. What for? That's why in our Shastra, Ardhanarishwara, Brahma, Saraswati, Vishnu, Lakshmi, Sita, Rama Sita, and all these Bhagavan, we are having that couples. It's Kalyana means to do lot of auspicious things. Wife and husband together, they can take up many auspicious activities. That is the main samskara. Vivaha is the main samskara in one's life. So now this samskara, these are the 4 names and 4 different meanings. Vivaha, Udvaha, Kanyakadanam, and last one is Kalyana. A boy or girl, before going to wed each other, marriage, they should know what is the purpose of Vivaha, what is the significance of Vivaha. And the mantras are so significant, and they can live so happily, peacefully if they know the significance. That is most important thing we have to understand. And Shastra says Vivaha is an important stage of life, Grihastha Ashrama. This person, that girl or boy, both of them, wife and husband, gets lot of Chitta Shuddhi because they perform Panchamaha Yajnas. Lot of purity. He can come out, grow out of Ragadveshas because he has to share each other with children, with family members, have to share their food, they have to share their money, wealth, everything they have to share. So that personal likes and dislikes drastically come down after marriage. Ragadveshas can be balanced. That is the first benefit of this Vivaha. And later he gets a lot of maturity. After bringing up children and handling wife or wife handling husband, they get a lot of mental maturity. Mental maturity brings that lot of accommodating mentality and adjusting mentality and it qualifies the person for vanaprastha and sannyasa ashrama. And after seeing all this wealth, earning money, enjoying everything, and this person feels enough of all these things, maturity comes automatically. What next? What I have to do now? The children are grown up and everyone is having everything. They have good studies and all, well established. Then what? So the maturity comes in his mind. All artha kama purusharthas are fulfilled. Dharma also fulfilled. Then natural blossoming that comes without any strain. That's why maximum people need this kalyanam, vivaha. It is only a stage to get maturity. And naturally gets what? Vairagyam, dispassion, podum, enough, I don't want. So mind turns towards further next pursuit. Vanaprastha and sannyasashrama and moksha sake. And sannyasashrama means mentally he wants to live in solitude, and he becomes so dharmic and able to accept, forgive everything, and that much maturity. Because many children are there, it will come. Now 1 or 2 children, I do not know how much it comes. But many children, have big family is there, definitely this person will get a lot of qualifications for that. So Shastra says, Grihastha ashrami is pillar of other ashramas. Because he has to feed brahmachari, Grihastha only has to feed. Grihastha only has to feed vanaprastha ashrami also, sannyasa ashrami also. So how he is compared, no? Yatha vayum samashritya vartante sarva jantavaha. Tatha grihastham ashritya vartante sarva ashramaha. All other ashramas, sarva ashramaha means all other ashramas continue, survive because of this grihastha ashrami, because he is taking care of them. Just like all beings, they are surviving because of prana, breath, that life principle. Just as all other beings are surviving because of this prana, similarly, because of this grihastha householder, all other ashramas, brahmacharya ashrama, vanaprastha, sannyasa ashrama, they are surviving. That is the idea given in our scriptures. And next, other steps in vivaha, the purpose of vivaha, and all we can see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.